Hello there, how are you doing? And welcome to another episode of Bearded on Point. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about being predictable. I want to tell you that do not be predictable. Every time I've been predictable in business, in relationships, and situationships, they don't end up too positively. They don't go too well. And the reason is very simple. Nobody wants a bore. Nobody wants somebody who's not exciting and somebody who's not fun. And you definitely, by coming to this video and watching it, I take it you're a man who wants to be exciting, unpredictable, an adventure for any woman that comes into your life. And if you're talking about business, you want to be in a situation where people can't gauge or predict what you're going to do in the market space. So they can never counter you quite well because you're always doing things in a manner they just didn't quite expect from you. And on top of that, you don't bore yourself. It is possible, it really is, to bore yourself. To come home, look at yourself and say, oh my God, I wish I could just take a holiday from me or run away to the mountains and shear some sheep. But before you lose your mind and run off to the mountains to shear sheep, let us talk about why predictability is a bad thing for a man. Well, let's go back to days when we used to hunt saber-toothed tigers and run in the wild naked with nothing on but loincloths and animal skins. I think it was premature and early Yeezy outfits. But let's talk about it, right? So you're out there as a man, hunting that prey, that fat antelope you've got to take back to that demanding woman that you've got back home. You and your group of confederates out there doing what you have to do to make things work for the village so everybody can eat and the kids don't starve to death. So there you are, hunting these antelopes, and you get one, or two, or three. But before you get one, you have to realize that animals learn patterns. So do predators and so do prey. So if you were predictable, the prey would know what to do to get away from you every time. And predators would know what to do to eat you for dinner. They would know that, well, Lois always runs left and then stops and then jumps to the right. All I have to do is let him run and wait for him to jump to the right and grab him with my paws and have a delicious bearded meal. That's what would happen to me if I was predictable in that environment. So therefore, I have to be innovative, flexible, and agile to be able to adapt to the environment no matter what happens. You see, no hunt is ever the same. The weather is different, the animals are behaving differently. Maybe a lion is chilling out, waiting for you guys to come along. A snake accidentally bites somebody. There's all sorts of things. Martians land in the middle of the Serengeti and kidnap half the group of hunters for untold experiments. Anything can happen. That's how life is. It's not predictable. That's why you should not be either. Because if life is unpredictable, you being predictable is going to clash with it. Rather, what you should do is become unpredictable. So whenever something out there happens in the wilderness, you are able to innovate and think your way around it to solve the problem. That is what predictability robs you of. So now, why does that matter to women though? You see, women were hardwired to be able to choose males that survive. Yes, gentlemen, women love survivors. They love the men that can go through the fire and come out the other side. Not the man that walks into the fire, wimps about his feet burning, falls flat on his face and burns to death. She wants the man that makes it, the man that succeeds, the man that's confident enough to run into the fire knowing he can get out of it. So what's the difference between these two kinds of guys? The difference is one has the ability to be flexible agile, and innovative enough to survive. The woman, on the other hand, all her job is to do is to determine this by using an interesting litmus test. Her brain subconsciously picks up the cues of predictability. It filters to the top of her mind through the iceberg of her subconsciousness into the statement that says, he's boring. He is not interesting. He does not excite me. When she says that, what she means about the guy she's speaking about is that he is predictable. He does not surprise her in his behavior or his actions. She can predict everything he is going to do, and her subconscious mind tells her, therefore, this is not a successful man. This is not the man for you. This is not the kind of guy you should be messing with, because you know what? He doesn't seem to be able to excite, to innovate. So that's how women interpret it, and they lose desire and interest in predictable, boring guys. So when she goes on a date and she's hanging around you, or she's talking to you, chances are you are boring for her. You are not exciting her. You are not switching on any buttons, pulling any toggles. You are simply being predictable and doing everything she thought you were going to do. Therefore, is there really a surprise in this man if I come tomorrow or don't? Is there something different about him if I come next week or don't come this week? He's going to be exactly the same guy doing exactly the same things. This is why, as a man, you've got to understand, it behooves you. That means you need to make sure this happens. That you spend time when you're not around women planning how to be adventurous, how to challenge their perception of what is a normal date, of what is a normal interaction with your boyfriend, of what kind of interesting things a man can make you go through. New tastes, new foods, new experiences. You make sure she always has fun. This is why a brother should put some budget aside to take a woman out to all sorts of things. Plays, hotel rooms in faraway places. They add to excitement. They add to your unpredictability. And they feed the monster that is her subconscious mind with the fulfillment of its question. Is this man innovative? Will he survive the hunt? The answer will always be yes. You've made the effort to be adventurous, interesting, and exciting. Now, if you have not been, the good news is, if she's still with you, and you guys are still together, whether it's a situationship, romance, or husband-wife situation, the good part is you can start being adventurous from today. From this very minute that you leave this video, you can go home, you can go wherever you are, and start being an adventurous man. She might be used to you being boring. You just come home and watch sport. Well, today you come home, you get into the house and you say, Daddy is home. And if she seems puzzled, repeat it. I said, Daddy is home. Grab the remote and switch the TV off. You have no business watching TV because you came here to show this woman just how surprising life with you can become. So, imagine you're driving with your girlfriend, significant other, and she has made the terrible mistake of wearing a short skirt in this car. Maybe you're driving or she's driving. It doesn't matter. Use your imagination. What I would suggest is, if you've never done it before, take your hand, put it on her thigh, and disrupt her driving. Just make sure you choose a place where you won't get into a car accident. And if you have to get off the road, get off the road. There's nothing on the news tonight interesting enough to get home earlier for. Trust me, the news is repetitive negativity. You should not be watching that either. So, now, you know why it's important to be unpredictable, right? You also know that you need to work at being unpredictable. You really need to sit down and plan to be unpredictable with the woman in your life. If you don't, you're going to suffer the consequences. You need to make it a part of your relationship rituals. Now imagine you're a guy, right, that always does everything. You always unpredictable. Do you know what you need to do? Switch it up. Do nothing. If you're always doing something to make the relationship go crazy, take some time out to do nothing but boring, average things and let her know that, you know what? We're just changing it up. Once again, the point is you are being unpredictable, and that's what she wants to see in you. Being predictable will get you into a lot of trouble because it'll make it seem like there's nothing new to be surprised by when it comes to you. There's nothing new you've got to offer. This is why gifts work. Presents wrapped up in a box. It's mystery. And mystery excites. It engages. Don't be predictable. And on top of that, it'll mean that people will be excited to see you. You understand? The unpredictable person is exciting to be around. We don't know what he's going to say today. We don't know what we're going to do today. But I do know it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be adventurous. And that is also the key and secret to long-term relationships and marriage. Be unpredictable. Do things that make the other person say, wow, man, this person always finds a way to surprise me and make things just go otherwise. I mean, wow. If you're talking about business, it's the same thing. If people think, oh, they are going to launch that product, by being unpredictable, guess what happens? They never are ready to defend the market from you, and you're always in places they are not. Because they thought, this guy's going to do that. Then you do this. Like Richard Branson. Everybody thought, oh, he's doing this. Don't worry about Richard Branson. Then suddenly Richard Branson got this idea of starting an airline called Virgin Atlantic. They thought, what? He's starting an airline with one plane? Oh, please, come on. He's a joker. Today, nobody thinks Richard Branson is joking. Nobody thought Richard Branson was joking after his music label started as well. That also succeeded very well. So in business and in relationships, being unpredictable saves you from getting eaten by a loss of interest by your partner, as you would have been eaten by a saber-toothed lion or tiger or whatever it's called when you were hanging around in the bushes in prehistoric times. So, to you gentlemen out there, I'll tell you, don't make my mistakes. I've had time in the past where I've been predictable, terribly so, like a clock. Tick, 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 tick. She knew what I was going to do, when and how. That was terribly pathetic and boring. But I am no longer a boring man. In fact, I am a man who's unpredictable. And you can be too. No matter if you're a nerdy guy with suspenders on, you too can be unpredictable. All you have to do is make an effort to become so, and you will have more successful relationships, and you'll be more successful in business that way. And till next time, be unpredictable. Do more, be more, become more on your purpose.